Hey, Greg. I guess we can start with you. Where are your emotions at after a game? You look comfortably ahead, and then it turns into a scramble there for the last 25 minutes or so.
I'm glad we got out with 3 points in the end. I mean, it was that was a crazy one. Each time we got up by 3 goals, and you think, okay, we're gonna lock this thing down. We gave the goal back within a couple minutes, and then, of course, they're not going to go away. So then we're in a battle, and we gave up goals in another set piece, but it's a deflection that finds their head, that finds the back of the net, that makes it 3-1. Just, it's the game, as I said to the guys, we've got to be able to lock that game down, just shut it down, and it needs to be done, and which means we need to be more mature in some of our decisions throughout the course of the game, make sure that we're good and solid in our possessions, and that we stay connected as a group, and we're not racing ahead of ourselves and getting separated. I felt like we maybe sensed that there was 6 goals or 7 or 8 goals, and then we lose track of just trying to, again, manage the game in an intelligent way, and the goals will show up. And I felt like we just got a little over in front of our skis a little bit on some of that. And, this league has a way sometimes of, reminding you that no lead is a safe lead if you don't do all the little things right. And we then sub on, we get a red card and a penalty, and now the next thing you know, you're in a 1-goal game, and you're trying to see it out, making subs, don't have cover at your center back position anymore. Right back, you're bringing on a guy that was sick yesterday that I didn't know if he even had 30 minutes in it. So it just got quickly into a weird position for us that we had to just see it out. So in the end, I'm happy and pleased with the work that the guys did, especially when they shut it down at the end. The guys that came on did a really good job of, with 9 or with 10, seeing the rest of the game out. But it's a game that I'd like us to be a little more mature in how we shut that game down and see it out.
What did you like about maybe the first 30? You guys went up 3-0. What did you like in that stretch, and also maybe the first 15 of the second half there?
Yeah, I thought at times when we were in good spots and the ball was moving and we were able to break their lines or catch them kind of gambling a little bit to try to close off the gaps. I think we made them pay on some of those occasions. It was nice for us to score on a set piece. But yeah, I thought we had pretty good control of the game through a good stretch of that, and that's the way we need to see out the rest of the game and not let it get there. But there's some good moments. I mean, they're organized, they were working hard, they were really releasing their fullbacks hard to our outside players, and when we were able to recognize that and get the ball moving quickly enough and get behind those guys, that's when I think we found some interesting attacks that were coming out of it. And I thought defensively, when we were connected, I thought we were better. When we're separated, we're just having to retreat again and deal with things deep. And so I think we've got to, again, continue to not get so pulled by the goal sometimes, and make sure that we keep ourselves together so that the game doesn't get open, especially when we're up 2-3 goals. The game doesn't need to be open at that point.
When you say sick, are we talking about Cuevas? Yeah,
well, Mickey has a bone bruise that got irritated this week, so he was out. Yesterday, in the morning, he was kind of ruled out, and then come to find out, Mauricio called the doc in the wee hours of the morning, and he wasn't able to come in and was told not to come in. So he was sick, so he didn't even train yesterday. In the scramble, we've used Eddie in a number of positions, so today he was right back, and I thought he would help us in possession moments, and he's got enough athleticism, enough experience to try to manage the side. So I thought he did fine and did a nice job just helping us under the circumstances. And then Martin started to feel it. I don't know exactly what it is. I don't think it's an injury, but he was definitely feeling like he was getting to an uncomfortable position. So at 3, we think, okay, we're gonna get him off and try to help manage him, because he's in one of those positions, and then the game becomes, then our center back Eric, who gets put on, then gets red carded, so then it becomes interesting. So it always keeps you on your toes.
Well, had you put any thought to? I mean, Martin has played as an outside back, Edward not so much. Was there any thought of that, or
I just
do you want to keep that?
Well, I mean, there's 2 parts to that. One is Eric's just coming off of concussion protocol, so he's only trained a bit this week. I don't necessarily think he was ready for the long haul.
Edward in the middle, perhaps?
Yeah, to me that would I don't think at this point in Martin's career, he wants to be defending outside in the wide channels, and so using Eddie's youth and athleticism, and he was a wide player growing up. Don't let him fool you. He was a winger growing up, and then he was moved into the defensive midfield position. So I thought he managed it pretty well through most of the game. And then I think as it started to get tired or we started to get separated, the decisions at outside back start to become very different. And that's when experience really helps you, when your team is a little separated and you're isolated and you got to make some decisions. That's when I think a little bit of his lack of maybe fullback experience came out. But I thought he did the best job he can do, which is enough for us tonight.
Seemed like he was a little bit of a stay-at-home right back.
Yeah, we were holding him. We weren't trying to get him too involved in the attack. It was to help us in transition, to help us set up attacks. I wasn't trying to get him up and down the sideline or anything like that. We're trying to keep it as simple as possible.
Hey, Greg, congratulations on the win.
Thank you.
At 3-0, do you get the sense at all that the team took their foot off the gas, or they kind of got a little complacent being up 3-0?
Yeah, I mean, we gave up the goal pretty fast, but what I would say is, and that's what I say at halftime, is I think we feel like there's goals in the game for everybody, and then we just start racing out trying to go score goals instead of still sticking to being sort of diligent about keeping possession, moving our team forward, not rushing to finish attacks, keeping our organization behind the attacks to prevent transitions, being a little more methodical at up 3. We don't necessarily need to rush, but I felt like there was a sense of like, oh, when we break this, we can score, and there's 2 or 3 goals for each of us in this thing. And that's where I feel like then we start to get really pulled toward the goal on this side, and then we're not as fast to close up on this side. And then if it doesn't, most attacks don't finish in goals, they finish in turnovers. And now what's happening in between those lines is nothing. And so they play out of it, and now we're backing and we're retreating, going and defending. And that becomes an end-to-end game, which is anybody's game. Even if you're up 3-0, it could be anybody's game. But it also becomes a really expensive game physically. It's just taxing. And then when you get tired, you can make mistakes. And so that's, to me, what I felt like we felt a little bit like, oh, man, we can go get more and more and more. And in the end, you get separated as a group, and it becomes a much more difficult game than maybe it could. And they weren't going away. To their credit, they never once took a step back. They just kept coming, and I think us giving them a goal back pretty quickly after going 3 helped them to say, hey, there still might be something in this for us. You go 3-0 up and you keep it for 10, 15, 20 minutes, then I think maybe you start to see a little chink in the armor, but it wasn't. They never showed it. They kept coming.
All right, thanks for your time, Greg.
Okay, thanks.